This is actually another thing that came up today. I know I have all these topics. It's because I started writing about them, but then I didn't like publish anything. I just kind of journaled about it a little bit. But Khadijah made a video today that was talking about it started to unpack sex and capitalism, basically. Um, and some of the clips and some of the points that she brought up in that video, I think, are useful. And it brought up some things that happened for me in my life. Like when I was in high school, I think I've said this before. So I wasn't having sex in high school, but I had a really, really, a very like kind of like sexy body, right? Like my body type is very like wow, you know. So I did have like boys that I was talking to, and that's when I think like it wasn't really like nudes, but it was just kind of like, you know, like sort of like risque type of pictures were like just getting started. And so I remember I sent a guy, it was like a swimsuit picture basically. And then but he shared it with like other people, and he really like liked the picture, but it was just like I felt like my trust with this guy was broken because he like shared the picture that I shared with him. So then it was like, okay, well, nothing's private in this community because if I share it with you, you're just going to share it with everyone, so I might as well just share it publicly, you know. I feel like actually a lot of girls at this point feel that way, which is why they just post pictures publicly on Instagram, because it's like if you even want to have, they probably have had some point where they sent a male a, you know, a swimsuit type of photo of themselves, and then that guy just leaked the photo anyway. So it's kind of like, okay, well, I mean, this is, there's no point, we've all seen the photo because you like shared the photo that was private, so there's that. And then there's another part where I feel like a lot of guys are using their, I don't know, like I just think there are some men, or maybe it's not even just some, a lot of men are feeling a little bit too much power in terms of like, in terms of sex. Like this is modern day America, and like what most women are choosing, you know, it's kind of like both people are being chosen if the sex happens, right? And so some men are just going around feeling like they are like conquistadors or something because they like have sex with a woman. And I feel like most women are just kind of like, you know, they've made a conscious decision to like hook up with a guy. This is for adults. This is not a conversation that's for like children. So no, but like, you know, it's like women are making decisions like, oh, you know, okay, I'm gonna hook up with this guy, and then guys are like, oh, fine. I think it's just because so few guys have access to women in reality. Like, they might have female friends, you know, that's a real thing. They might have, like, you know, sisters and mothers and stuff. So it's like they have women in their lives, but I'm talking about romantic partners because it like like just from what I know, like in a very honest way, like guys have a lot of, it's very easy to get stuck in a girl's friend zone, right? Like, and I'm talking about any girl, we're not even talking about status, like, oh, she's pretty, oh, she's this, oh, she's that. We're not even talking about that. I'm just talking about a really basic ass girl, for a guy to be in her friend zone. Like, girls have male friends, as in like the guy's phone number is in her phone. Sometimes they talk about stuff, maybe they go places together, but those people are not in romantic relationships, so that guy still is like not romantically involved with that girl. And so when I'm talking about there's so few guys who are actually getting like lucky or whatever, like seriously, it's really hard for most guys to get laid. For most guys, like 90% of them. There is that 10% who like it's like super easy, like they just have tons of access. But for most guys, it's really hard. And so I think too many people are conflating things, especially guys, when they're like talking to each other. Oh, well, I have 10 female friends. You know, I'm with women all the time. It's like, yeah, but those are just your friends. You aren't sleeping with these women. These women are not allowing you to sleep with them. So in terms of like the acts, or like these women are not your romantic partner. These women are not your girlfriend. These are just your friends. Just friends. And I'm not saying that's not like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But it is also becoming this society that is like, I don't think that these guys are out here uh not without a want for sex. Like they want to get laid because the sex industry is still like completely booming. You know, like millions of people, maybe even like a lot of people are online watching porn every day. And I recently learned about like there's a community of people who like they Twitch stream porn and then they like have commentary channels about the porn. And that to me that's fucking nuts. Like I don't we have come like so far and like the whole thing it's like I feel like it would probably just be a much more healthy society if men had actual girlfriends in real life that they could actually have real sex with consistently so that they wouldn't have to turn to all of these like really ugly dirty ways of like making women feel like if these guys if 90% of the guys don't have any access at all to women, and I'm not talking about like speaking to women and like just being friends with women. I'm actually talking about like they don't have romantic access to any women. None. Zero. The numbers are zero. Like nothing on the board. Guys who are on Tinder and Bumble and all the apps or whatever, they're not matching with anybody. That doesn't mean that these guys do not have like friends and meaningful relationships and family members. They do, but they don't have any romantic partners at all. Most guys, 90% of the guys. And so, in terms of like how, I think it makes sense, I guess. So, when one guy from this group gets like lucky or whatever, and he gets access to one girl, as in he's able to have sex with one girl, he like transmits this story and this story, this narrative to all of the other guys, I guess, who are like unhopeful bros or something who are supposed to like learn lessons about this. But in terms of like the woman on the other side of that, it's like, god damn, like her story has to be the story for 90% of the losers out here who get nothing. It's the stats there are just like incredible. Like I think it's just it to me it's a really dangerous place for women because like it's almost like any move that you make is like not a good idea, right? It's like if you get into a relationship with this guy and it doesn't work out, now your story has to be his story for like hundreds of guys or like for every guy in his community, even though like you are only one person. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then I think another thing that's like super strange is that to me, at least from what I hear, coming from it's not all guys, but some of them is they're sort of talking about like purity politics in a way where like women don't have any worth, right? If they have like a certain body count or whatever, or it's like basically women are valuable if they're like if they're closer to virginal, but the farther they are away from virginal, then they're just like sluts or something, and sluts have no value. And then there was this other thing that Khadijah brought up that I thought was interesting, but it made me think too, because she said like there were times in her life where she thought about going into sex work and how there were men around her who normalized going into sex work. They were like suggesting it for her. They were, you should just go into sex work. You have a wonderful body. Like you should do it. And it's just like that's insane. Like who pushes someone into sex work? Like sex work is really dangerous. Like really, really dangerous. The society without sex work is already extremely dangerous for women. Like what are these guys thinking? Like, why would you actually tell someone to do that? We have so many examples of women who were sex workers who have just given interviews about how awful it is and how, like, we already know it's, like, super socially unacceptable. Like, who advocates for that? Like, it just, to me, there are just so many confusing parts where, like, I don't know. I don't see like a direct path forward, like at all. Like I don't, like I don't know. Like I don't even see like a path forward because it feels like the genders are just going like this, right? And then like some, like a few guys have seemed to like figure it out and they are in healthy relationships. But it does feel like the rest of them are just like falling right off of a fucking cliff. Because there's always going to be like that 10% of guys, right, who like women want and women will chase. But there's also like the 10% of women, it might even be hard. Like, really, all women have value, and I'll continue to say that because, like, sex work is a work. So, however unvaluable these men in society are out here saying that sex workers are, they continue to pay the sex workers. It's like a huge industry. So, they continue to like throw a lot of money at sex workers. But you're saying that these women aren't or these people, all the people who do sex work aren't valuable. It's like they kind of need to exist. And I guess one of the other quotes that came from, there's like a TV show called Deuces or something, and the woman was basically saying, what is valuable in capitalism? And the answer is it's anything that men will pay for, and men will pay for women. So I guess you have to kind of think about that. And you can unpack that for yourself, but it does seem like a useful starting place to just realize that in society, and it didn't even go further than that. It just was like men will pay for women. Or I'm sorry, what is valuable is anything that men will pay for in terms of capitalism. And men spend a lot of money on women and things that make women happy. Otherwise, like, how will they get access to women? Any women. Even ugly women, even broke women, fat women, disabled women, sex working women, like how will they get access to any women? Not like how will they talk to women and have female coworkers, right? Because like everyone has that. Like most people, the Pookies are real though. Some of the Pookies don't even have jobs at all. So there's them. But let's just talk about the ones who like do have jobs and they have, they figured out some way to live or whatever. But like how will they have meaningful lives? Because lots of them don't have their own apartments. They aren't living on their own. They all live in like shared housing in some way, and no woman can move into a shared housing situation with a guy. That's not a thing, right? And then just all of it is like quite confusing, and I don't know. I don't know.